let's just have a look at the arcade mode of BeTiled. Match 3 for the ZX Spectrum, released in 2007 from Computer Emuzone, and inspired by the PopCap game called Bejeweled, which was released a year or two before that. So, we have a semblance of a science fiction plot, which is basically coming up on the screen now. Evil scientists need to collect jewels to collect the energy so the scientific lab does not blow up. It's nice to have a bit of a storyline. So here we go. First level is we have the icons of faces. I don't think that back in 2007 we could call them emoji. And you need to obtain a certain amount of each colour. So level 2 here we need to obtain 4 of each colour. So there's 3 for the cyan ones. These are being kept track of, as we said, at the bottom of the screen. And once we get through the required number, we will advance to the next level. So there's a little bit of thinking just to make sure that you are trying to gather the correct colours and not waste your time getting yet another combination of red when you actually need the blue. But then when you get into the later part of the game, you're going to have to work through some other colours, partly to make sure that you can get everything so you can line up those final colours, but also you got a timer ticking down as well, 72, 71, 70, and to keep that timer up, every time you make a connection on a match 3, you get a bonus second. So while you're waiting for one set of colours to come into play, so in this case we need to obtain 5, and we're out of line, so the board game kindly scrambles up for us. And there's 5 green in a row as well, which means we get it all in one go. While we're still looking to make the colours that we need to, we still want to be matching up any other colour just to try and keep as much of our time saved as possible, because when you run out of time, that is game over. You want to try and get as far as you can, of course, because you know that's what you do in a game. Am I going to get my last white one? And this is the point where if I was being really, really evil, I could just pause the emulator. But I do think that's kind of missing the point. It has to be said. Every 5 levels, you'll move up in stages, and that's represented by using different icons. So we'll come on to sort of scientific icons coming next. Then after that, we'll get I think they call them like bunny rabbit or hero representations, but they're like little small cartoon characters going through as well. Probably because of the amount of time I've played in this, the smiley faces are the ones that I'm most used to. Level 5, if we can get through this one, you'll see the next character set, so let's keep that ticking over as well. BeTiled came out now 12 years ago, so it is quite an old new Spectrum game. As I said before, I regard new Spectrum games as those that were released after I went to university, not before. And as a couple of the commentators have been saying there, you know, this feels like it would have been a really solid budget game on the Spectrum. And when we look at something, I mean, Mr. Doe's the obvious one because it came out recently. The Spectrum homebrew scene in the last 12 years has come on leaps and bounds. But at the same time, when you've got a game that's just nice and works, you don't necessarily need, pardon the pun, you don't need everything to be absolutely bejeweled. You just need to have a solid game. Look, I'm sure if developers took a hold of this now and the Match 3 concept on the Spectrum, there's a lot of stuff that's been added in previous years from the likes of Candy Crush and so on. That an updated Match 3 in the Spectrum I'd be very interested in seeing, actually. But for now, BeTiled, one of the first, and certainly one I'm going to raise a glass to.